guys, my name is Miss Anna and I'm the student coordinator over at the Davis Boys and Girls Club. Did you know that the third Friday in December is known as National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day? Today I'm going to be showing you an easy weaving activity using your fingers that you could use to create a bracelet, headband, or scarf to wear with an ugly Christmas sweater. Let's get started. The only material you will need for this activity is yarn. It can be any thickness. You just need to make sure you have enough yarn to complete whatever length project you want. The shortest would be a bracelet, then a headband, and a scarf would be the longest. To start, you are going to take the end of your yarn and you are going to take your hand and drape the yarn so that you have a little tail in front of your hand in between your thumb and index finger, and the rest of the yarn is behind your hand like so. Next, you are going to leave the tail of yarn where it is and take the yarn that is draped behind your hand and start weaving it around your fingers. So you're going to go behind your index finger, in front of your middle finger, behind your ring finger, and in front of your pinky finger, like so. So we ended with our yarn in front of our pinky with the long end over here. Now we are going to weave our way back. So you are going to now go behind your pinky, in front of your ring finger, behind your middle finger, and in front of your index finger. Now, it should not hurt at any point during this. If your fingers hurt, it means that you wrapped your yarn too tightly. We want it to be nice and loose so that we do not have any pain in our fingers. So now you should have the end of your yarn in front of your index finger like so. Now we are going to repeat that process again. So I'm going to take my yarn and wrap it back behind my index finger, in front of my middle finger, behind my ring finger, and in front of my pinky finger. And then I'm going to bring it back. So I'm going to wrap it again behind my pinky finger, in front of my ring finger, behind my middle finger, and in front of my index finger. So now when you look at the front and the back of your fingers, there should be two pieces of string in the front and behind. Before we start the next step, you want to make sure that all of your loops that you just made are close to the bottom of your fingers near your knuckles. You don't want them up much higher because we are going to wrap more string up higher on our fingers, so you want to make sure that your first loops are all down low. Now we are going to take our long end of our string, which ended right here in front of our index finger, and we are going to wrap it around all four fingers at once. So you're going to wrap it behind and in front once, and then behind and in front again. Remember, don't wrap it too tightly because we don't want our fingers to hurt. But so you should now have two loops down at the bottom and two loops on the top of your fingers. Now for this next step, we want to be very careful. You are going to now carefully take the bottom loops and you are going to stretch them over the top loops and over your finger. So you are going to take these off, bring them up and over, keeping the top loops on, and take them over the back of your fingers so that they are now behind your fingers. So again, I'll show you up close at this one. You're going to stretch it, and you want to make sure that the top loops stay on your fingers. If they fall off, then it won't work. So you want to very carefully stretch the loops on the bottom, lift them over the top loops, and then over the top of your finger and let go. So now they should all be back here like this. For the next step, I'm going to want to push the loops that are still on my fingers down so that we have room at the top of our fingers to wrap our yarn around again. So you're going to slide them down further, closer to your knuckles, and then we are going to take our long end of yarn and we are going to repeat. So we are going to wrap it around the back to the front, back and front, around all 4 fingers again. And make sure that it is loose enough that your fingers do not hurt. Now we are going to do the same process again, where we are going to carefully stretch the bottom loop, bring it over the top 2 loops of yarn and over the top of our finger and let go. Take the bottom 2 and make sure they're the bottom 2, stretch it over the top 2, over the top of your finger and let go. Bottom 2 loops, over the top 2 loops, over the top of our finger and off, and last one, bottom 2, over the top 2, over our finger and let go. And then we are going to slide the loops down again like we did before. And we are going to keep repeating this process until the woven part on the back is as long as we would like it. So I'm going to show you how mine turns out, but I'm going to speed up the process. So I've now gotten to the point where mine is this long and I want to stop weaving. So I have 1 loop left on each finger. I just stretched and put the string over and I've decided that I'm done. So I'm going to stop at this point and make sure you still have 1 loop on each finger. For my first step on how to finish, I am going to take the loop off of my index finger. I'm going to lift it up and over and I'm going to put it onto my middle finger. Then I'm going to take the bottom loop from my middle finger and put it up and over the index finger loop, like so. So now I only have loops on my middle finger, index finger, and pinky finger. Next, I'm going to finish the loop on my middle finger. So I'm going to take this loop off of my middle finger, put it onto my ring finger, and take the bottom loop of my ring finger and bring it up and over the new loop that I put on the ring finger. So now I should just have loops on my ring finger and my pinky finger. Now I'm going to take the loop off of my ring finger and put it onto my pinky, like so. And I'm going to take the bottom loop off of my pinky and bring it up and over the new loop I just put on my pinky and over the top of my finger. So now I should just have a loop left on my pinky finger. Next, we are very carefully going to take the loop off of our pinky, but you want to make sure the loop doesn't close. So keep a tight grip on this loop because we don't want it to close before we are able to do the next step. Next, while still holding my loop open, I have my fingers pinched through it right there, I'm going to take the long end of yarn right here and I'm going to take a pair of scissors and cut it so that I still have at least a few inches left because we are going to need that for the next step. That. So you do want to have your loop and a tail when you're done with this step. Now I'm going to take the tail that I just created and put the end through the loop like this, and then I'm going to let go of the loop and pull my tail so that the loop closes like so. So now I should just have a tail on the end that used to have the loop. Now, if I want, I can go back to the starting side with the starting tail and actually pull that tail to tighten it on this end, because it is going to be probably a little loose where you started, because that is how it works, and you should have your finished woven piece. So I'm going to make a bracelet out of mine so I can wrap it around my arm like so and use the two tails to tie it together. So here's my finished woven bracelet. And remember, you can make it even longer to make a headband, or you could make it longer than that still to make a scarf to go along with your ugly Christmas sweater. But I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you had fun with this project, and I will see you guys in January.